Well, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video. And yeah, in this one, well, we're going to talk all sorts of things. Typical farmer talk, the weather, what's going on there, what's happening with the crops, sun is shining, amazing weather, but how is everything faring up? And just a look at budgets and growing crops in the UK right now, how it's sort of changing, you know, even over the last few years. And I hope you can hear all the skylarks around here. It's just amazing how much they've got out of here. This is a block of 50 acres of wheat up here. It's a 100-acre block of land, and half of it is in this enhanced stubble this year, and half is in wheat. And this is second wheat, I think, up here. And yeah, I'm going to talk about the weather, because it's just impossible in the area we're in, and what on earth is going on. And I sort of mentioned the D word, drought, in a couple of videos ago. Well, it's sort of becoming real. In certain parts of the UK, we are really not getting rain, and we're at somewhere that I didn't expect to be at this time of year. Just some stats for you. Since the 26th of February, on this farm, we have received 25.8 mil of rain. Last year in 2024, in the same period, we had 184 mil of rain. I'll just show you what that means. 25 mil of rain there, so just on an inch. 184 is there. So that is the difference in rainfall, that much. Now, just a proviso there, that is to the end of May, and today I think it's the 2nd of May. So yeah, we've got a bit of May to go, but all the long range forecasts are predicting no rain. There was a chance of thunderstorms last night, and we were all looking at our radar. I was talking to farmer friends around here. Yeah, no, it's going to, it's going north. Oh, it's missed us. And it was yet another miss for here. We did have some rain on the Tuesday after Bank Holiday Monday, 15 mil of rain. And I'm so annoyed. I wasn't in the country over Easter, and I didn't put that wild birds seed in. So that's still got to happen. But it did mean we had a dressing of fertiliser, and that did go into the ground. We did it just a few days before, so perfect timing. And the crops have taken up that nitrogen. But they are stressed. We are at a level of rainfall. Well, I was looking back at the records, and if you look back at the infamous summer of 1976, in March, April and May, we received a total of 40.5 mil of rain. So we've had 25 mil of rain so far. So we need another 15 mil of rain in May to just match summer 1976. Talking to the weather experts, they think we might struggle to do that. So this could be even drier than that summer of 1976. And then if you look at the crops, well, as you drive past, it's changed colour and things, but it has no energy about it. It should be filling the rows by now. I can still see too much, and I'm getting concerned the sort of yellowing leaves at the back. Basically, what a crop does, if it struggles, it decides to jettison tillers, as they term. A wheat seed will produce fertile tillers coming out, and it thinks it's not getting enough to drink, hasn't got enough nutrients, it will abandon some of those tillers, and that's the worry what's happening here. And I just cut one open, not very well, but just to show you. So you've got this is a node, so that's stem extension just happening there. There's a node there, and there is an ear just there, just coming up. So that's the stage we're at. So another leaf coming out there, rolled. Yeah, I do not want to see rolled leaves like that. That is again a sign of stress. It's curling up because it's getting a lot of sunshine, and we have had fantastic sunshine levels, so it just means it's trying to protect the moisture that is there, so it's not evaporated off, so the leaf is curling up to minimise its exposure, it doesn't lose any rain through the leaf stomas. So yeah, that's what's going on. And the other thing we've been doing in here is spraying for weeds. We've had some grass weeds come up, and we were up here the other day just having a look. There's a black grass. Oh, there's a sterile brome. So you think it's a wheat plant until the ear appears. You think, no, that's a weed. That's quite an aggressive weed. I just saw some black grass. Yeah, this is the other thing. So the grass is under stress as well. That is a black grass there. and that is early for that ear to be poking out. But the grass is also stressed, the weed, and yeah, what you're trying to do, that's a pollen stick there just coming out. We're trying to kill that weed before those seeds are viable. So I'm hoping that will change colour over the next couple of weeks. We were spraying here 2 or 3 days ago, and hopefully that is an unwell blackgrass plant. We will see. Yeah, just something on agri-chemicals and things. Yeah, I'm just looking, there's another one there. We've got a cleaver, so we spray that out, and that's looking a bit poorly now. There we are. Yeah, I don't go to a shop and say, can I have some glyphosate, or can I have some an active ingredient that's going to take these weeds out. I employ an agronomist, and it's a bit like having a personal sort of doctor that comes to you, looks over your crops and says, you use these agri-chemicals to tackle disease or weeds or plant regulators, all those sort of things. He's trained, he's up to date on all the new products that are on the market, and he makes a recommendation. And I say, yeah, all right then, Richard, we'll do that. And then he then supplies the chemical. I use a contract to put that on because I want that big, wide 36 metre machine. That's how it works, but it's an expensive game. I was looking at the costs we just done now, and so in here, say we control a little bit of grass weeds and also those broadleaf weeds. Yeah, you split weeds into 2 parts, those grass type weeds and broadleaf dandelions. I show you that cleavers just before. They're a different class. They're not a grass weed, and it's always harder to kill a grass weed out of wheat because wheat is a hybrid grass, if you like, and it's quite clever technology, and you pay more for those chemicals. But the cost, I'm doing it on per acre. That was £32 an acre, the weed killer that we just put on this field. And the other one it's had was when we put the crop in, we put that, what we termed a pre-emergent herbicide in. That one is £46 an acre. So we've already spent £78 per acre just on weed killers on this crop of wheat so far. There's plenty more to do. We haven't done fungicides yet, and we'll be doing at least 2 of those, especially when it comes into here. Let's go and have a look over here, see what the other wheat looks like. Yeah, I should say that this rain, or lack of it, isn't right across the UK. Weirdly, I mean, in the west they've had lots of rain. Devon, Cornwall, Wales, that side of the country has been good. South east right down, that's had rain. And East Anglia's had rain, but I think Yorkshire's really struggling as well. It's the centre of the country that's suffering, us around Oxford particularly. And yeah, I can see it in this crop. I thought I wanted to come in here because I thought this is my better crop. I'm not so sure now, having looked at it. It just looks a bit poorly, doesn't it? It's got a sort of slightly yellow tinge to it. If I just pull a plant up, let's have a look if I can get one. There we are. Yeah. Oh. See, that's 2 seeds, and what it is, it just hasn't got the number of tillers that I would expect to see from a seed. I would expect many. That's only got 2 possibly. That isn't going to be put an ear up. That one potentially, is that 3? I'm not sure if that's from the same plant though. No, that isn't. So yeah, that's what we're really suffering is the lack of tillers. It's decided to jettison some tillers, and that is really going to not yield, unfortunately, in this area. I was expecting from the harvest of the amount of wheat I put in, I had budgeted on 350 tonnes of wheat. I am now expecting 250 tonnes, so I've put it down 100 tonnes lost. And now that is also, we are growing half of what we grew, the actual area of wheat, than we did in 2024. So it was bound to be a lot less. That is having a dramatic effect on the profitability, unfortunately, of growing the wheat. I was looking at that number, and it is a bit scary, because the other thing that's happened is the price of wheat keeps falling. A lot of farmers expected, because yields were down in 2024, that the price would increase, and they held on to their wheat, and the reverse has happened. Since harvest, the wheat has continued to drop down. It does go up for new crop, interestingly enough, but not for old crop. So I was budgeting on £190 for harvest 25. we're now at £170 for harvest 25, so £20 less. And I was budgeting with 350 tonnes produced £30,208, and that is a gross profit figure on growing just 118 acres of wheat. The budget now, with the 250 tonne drop, the drop in price, I'm budgeting on a gross profit of £5,448 off the wheat. And that is gross. That hasn't paid for the combine, diesel, servicing the tractors, no drawings from me at all. 5,000 for farming this. Fortunately, I'm in all those environmental schemes, and the difference is they put into the farm, profitably wise, over 10 times what I'm getting for growing food in 2025. That is the madness we are now in. The whole profitability of the farm is based on the SFI, on these environmental schemes, and I'll explain how that works. We'll just go and have a look at some of them and why they are so rewarding compared to actually growing a crop in 2025. Right, now this field we combined in 2024, pulled the combine out, and we haven't gone anywhere near it since. And this is my AB6, this is enhanced overwinter stubble, as it's called, part of the SFI scheme, or countryside stewardship scheme in this case. And this is just quite a good indication what would grow if you didn't do anything with the land and didn't put wheat in it. Well, this is the giveaway. So you can see the black grass coming up here. This is what all this is. I saw some thistles, monster great thistles. They don't mind a lack of moisture because they have a great big taproot going down. So they are looking very healthy. And I am rewarded for leaving this. This is the government, or the thinking behind it is a wildlife area, it's resting the land, it is low carbon emissions for net zero because I'm not putting any fertiliser on, I'm not cultivating it, I'm not burning diesel to produce food. Food, as I've mentioned many times, in the current government policy, you do not get rewarded for growing food. They are, for whatever reason, they are not interested. These environmental schemes are king. I don't think it will last, but anyway, that is where we are at the moment. And in per acre, enhanced overwinter stubble, £238 an acre I get paid for this. And that is basically profit because I've done nothing to it. The only thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to come in with glyphosate to kill off this black grass. I am not allowed to do it until the 15th of May. And I'm very worried because, as I say, it's been such a dry year. I don't want those seeds to become viable and then produce more seed in the ground that I then have to control in the wheat crop. This is going into wheat next year. So I've asked for a derogation, I've applied, and I'd like to be in here as soon as they say okay. Otherwise we're going to be in on midnight on the night of the 14th of May and sprayed off, because as soon as I want to get in here as soon as possible. It's the dilemma when a government decides on critical dates for wheat management. Nature doesn't work to critical dates, it works to sort of growth stages and things like that. But anyway, they are paying me £238 an acre to leave my ground alone like this. And if I look at the wheat crop we just come out of, the revised budget, I am hoping for a profit about £48 an acre gross before I've got any combine costs for my own labour. While this, the glyphosate will be, it's around £10 an acre, sprays on top another £5. So I've got a £15 cost against my 238. So I've got let's say a £220 net profit from doing absolutely nothing with my field and putting it into wheat next year. So this is why I'm so grateful for the SFI schemes. That is where the profit on my farm is coming from in the next few years, not from growing wheat. What a weird situation. So that's what's happening here. One more area I want to show you. I've got one field that has got basically the highest paying part of my environmental scheme and the least a successful bit of wheat. So we'll head over there and I'll show you what's going on there. Yeah. Well, everybody has a problem field, and this is mine. It's called Big Picket. And last year, the wheat in here was the best wheat on the farm. And this year, it is my worst field of wheat. I mean, it's barely there. We had a couple of goes drilling it. We did some in October. Paul couldn't finish the field. It was too wet. Can't remember how wet it was. And then we had another go in November. We thought it had dried out enough. And it's as patchy as anything. And I've put it to 16 point something acre field. I've said we're going to get the equivalent of 5-6 acres of wheat off it, so nothing. But this is a grass plot, grass margin plot, floor enhanced, and I spun some grass seed on here and some various vetches and things, and this is it. And even this is really struggling with how dry. You can see it's just dust bowl, this. This is the grass I put in September, and it's sort of sitting there and not doing anything. And this is part of a scheme that is a 5-year scheme. So this was actually Countryside Stewardship, started on the 1st of January 2024. I've got 5 years of this, and for taking this area of this field out, that I get for this £323 an acre, so £100 more than I got for the enhanced stubble that I then put back into wheat. But yeah, this is, I just kicking myself that I didn't put the whole blessed field in it, but because it was did so well last year with this variety, I thought, oh no, I'll give it one more go. We've cracked it, Big Picket, we know what we're doing with it. And then the weather turned, and it was just heavy ground, and it didn't want to know. So basically we've abandoned this field and are not farming it in our normal way, just not spending money on it. Had a different sort of herbicide treatment. I won't put any fungicides on it. I mean, you look here, there's just nothing. But yeah, we're going to get something from it, but not a lot. And yeah, that's what's happened. That, as I say, the budget, I think, for the wheat on the farm in 2025 is going to be about just under £50 gross profit. And yet the environmental schemes, the output is going to be, over 10 times that. So I am fully focused now on environmental schemes, and I'm just thinking that even the wheat, when ignore this field, just the normal wheat, if we have these weather extremes as we seem to get now, I need at least 2 tons of wheat to cover my costs before I'm even making a gross profit before other costs. So I really need 2.5, 2.6 tons to the acre of wheat to stand still, and 3 tons to actually be, that is worthwhile doing. And the average on this farm historically is just under 3 tons the acre. So I think, right, I'm going to concentrate on these environmental schemes while they're available. That's why I've gone overboard on them at the moment. There are a lot of farmers who missed the boat on it, and I really feel for them in the current situation with the falling grain price. Because the thing is, we're in a global wheat market now, and Europe has had quite a wet year. All this rain that we're not getting here will go into Europe, southern Europe and France. It's pouring down there. And Spain, they've had amazing amounts of rainfall. So it is purely in very localised areas where we're getting these extremes of weather. But just historically, we're getting too many of them for me to say, oh, it's a one-off. Doesn't feel like a one-off anymore. We've had too many. So, and I'm looking forward. What do I do? The environmental schemes are there. They're closed at the moment. They say they're going to come out of another scheme. I can't believe they're going to be as generous as they were when I took these up. So I am really thinking, what happens to the farm when these close? Do I go out back into full food production? I can't see I can with unpredictable weather. So I'm thinking on the farm, how are we going to farm in the future? And I'm looking at where there are possibilities. I could go full on to livestock, beef price going right up. We grow grass, we've got beautiful grass meadows here. I should say actually, Yeah, I've got species-rich grassland on here. Again, SFI payment for that, £261 an acre, and a haymaking supplement of £64 an acre. So I've got spectacular pasture on this ground, and organic as well, and we can do beef here. But then I've got to have buildings to put the beef in over winter, or do I go Belted Galloways? And I've got a whole load of labour that's every day out there, and I would have to give up all the car stuff to concentrate on that. It's not really worthwhile to do, much as I would quite enjoy it. So I'm thinking, well, carbon capture. We are the only industry who naturally does carbon capture, and that is sort of where my mind is drifting off to. How do I take advantage of this world that suddenly values carbon capture? Is that an area? And from what I understand, and this is all for future videos, I've got to come up with a base figure. I've got to know where we are now with carbon capture, what the state of the soil is, can I put more in, what can we plant, etc. So yeah, that's months off, but that is where I'm going, thinking how do we farm when we move out of these environmental schemes? Because I was looking at the terms and conditions and all these, and you'll think, all right, I've signed up, well, it's a 5-year scheme. Look at the small print, and the government has the right to cancel them with 6 months notice. So are they going to last the full 5 years, or the 3 years for the SFI scheme? The current government has that option, just to say, sorry mate, we're not doing that anymore, you've got 6 months notice, we're closing the scheme, and you don't have to pay anything back, but the scheme has ended. So yeah, that's why I'm looking at it now. So lots to digest there. That's what's going on Harry's farm. What I really wanted to do is to rain, and we don't break records for the driest spring ever. I'd much rather see this crop sort of come back to life. We've still got 1 dose of fertiliser put on it, but we're leaving it in the tank at the moment until it is forecast to rain, and the long range forecast is not predicting anything for this area, and it looks out for 2 weeks ahead. So 16th, 17th of May, doesn't seem any rain. This is one weather forecast. I really want to be wrong, but is it? Well, you'll catch up on the next Harry's Farm video, which will be in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for watching.